Hello and welcome to the channel. I want to thank whoever it is who's up high. The Premier League is back, baby. Yeah. Oh, why am I so excited? Because I absolutely hate, I'm really bored whenever there's an international break, unless there's a World Cup or European Cups on. I mean, I just hate pointless friendlies. International friendlies, and I've got to admit, England aren't a great team to watch play. And that's all really I've got to say about England. So I really want to talk about Man United in tomorrow's game. So anyway, ahead of tomorrow's clash for top four, I'm going to discuss who I think the starting lineup will be. Talk about some problems Ten Hag has got. Players who are coming back, players who won't be coming back, and how United and with Ten Hag can take a step forward towards the Champions League qualification, which is all I'm interested in. That's what I want for Manchester United. I mean, it's about tomorrow's game as well. I'm still our enemies tomorrow. That lack of a better word at this second. I'm still amazed that we beat Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final. I mean, we played awful in that first half, and threw large points in that game. And if they'd had someone who could put the ball in the back of the net, the result might have been completely different. You know, I want United to start controlling games, and I am a football pragmatist, and we didn't play well against Newcastle. We really didn't. So to win our first trophy in 6 years and still remain in contention for both the FA Cup and the Europa League, I'm as giddy as a schoolboy. Imagine me, I've got my school blazer on, I've got a white shirt, probably got a tie on, a school badge there. I've got my little bag, and I'm skipping, bouncing away to school. Man United, Man United, Man United. Yeah, definitely. I'm so happy that we're in, and I couldn't have hoped for more from Ten Hag, to be honest. He's given us hope again. Our first trophy in 6 years. Who would have thought it'd been 6 years? Time flies by too quick. But anyway, it's not all lottery wins and nice sunshine, is it? I mean, Ten Hag has got a few absentees tomorrow ahead of the game on Tyneside, which could have major ramifications for finishing in a Champions League qualification spot. What do I mean by that? I mean, Newcastle are just 2 points behind Tottenham, who are in fourth. So if we lose to them tomorrow, it means they jump ahead of us. We move into fourth, Tottenham fifth, and that'll be a disaster. It would be a disaster. I believe that for United, right now it's about solidifying third position. I want us to finish third. I don't want to finish fourth. I don't want to finish with Newcastle above us. I want to start moving towards City and put them under a little bit of pressure. Yeah, okay, we're probably not going to surpass them. Anyone that says we're going to win the Premier League, it's pie in the sky stuff. Because ultimately, I mean, our form, well, I've had a few dodgy results, haven't we? Liverpool being one of them. And I think if we could have avoided those dodgy results and continued to pick up points, then we may have had an outside chance at winning the Prem. But all coming second, I never ever truly thought we could win the Prem. But maybe second, I thought. I mean, what do you think? Share what you think about that in the comments below. So, just about the game again. So, I think maybe this game's a little easier to predict, as we've already played Newcastle twice this season. And as you know, we beat them in late February, beating them 2-0 in the Carabao Cup final. But I'm just a nervous fan, and I believe that we're only a game away from getting a hiding. I mean, that Liverpool game where we got stuffed, I don't want to go over that again at all, really. But I think we may not to that level, but I think we're a game away from getting a beating at any time. And maybe it's because of the lows of last season. Maybe I think like that because it's the lows of last season. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But you've got to admit that under Ollie, Mr. Solskjaer, the lows felt, he's a United great, so I'm not taking a pop at him. But as a manager, the lows felt like bottomless dark pits for me. And I know a few Liverpool fans, for me, they're the noisy neighbours, not City. On Facebook, in person, on text, wherever. I just get stick from Liverpool fans. Well, I did, and not so much at the moment, for obvious reasons. But anyway, come on United. We need to win this game. We need a top 4 finish. It's all I care about, as I mentioned. Okay, another cup would be great. So the Europa League and the FA Cup, we're still in them. And yeah, I'd love to win one of them. I'd love to win both of them. But do I think we will? Possibly not. And for me, it's all about the Premier League and getting that top 4 finish. Third, I'd be truly happy. I think I'd feel a little gutted. Call me greedy. I think I'd be a little gutted if we finished 4th and Newcastle finished above us. I just think we're a superior club, superior team, got the better manager, and there's more going for us long term than there is for Newcastle. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. So, what do we need to know about the game tomorrow? So, here we go. So, last 5 head-to-heads, Newcastle United v Man United. Newcastle have won none. United have won 3 and have been 2 draws. So it's 3 wins, 2 draws for Man United, which is fantastic. But so that gives us about a 60-40 win ratio. So let's look at from a points point of view. From a possible 15 points, we've taken 3, 6, 8 points from a possible 15. That's it. Is that right? No, sorry, 11 points from a possible 15, which is fantastic. Which may make you think we've got the upper hand against them tomorrow. Especially considering our last meeting was in the Carabao Cup final and we beat them 2-0. But if we then look at the Premier League last 5 games, so if you look at United's, we won 2, drew 2 and lost 1. So we took 8 points from a possible 15. How about Newcastle? They've won 2, lost 2 and drew 1. So they took 7 points from a possible 15. So from a form point of view and a points picking up point of view, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. And we played the same amount of games, 26 I think it is we played. So it's all to play for. All to play for. So how about team news? Casemiro remains suspended for this game, as well as the next 2 games. So that's Brentford and Everton. After his red card. I mean, I kind of don't think that tackle was warranted a red card. Although I do think maybe Casemiro needs to kind of understand that the Prem isn't the same as La Liga, and referees can be a little more touchy and kind of, so maybe it's a bit of a less physical game. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. I mean, do you think that Casemiro has a bit of a learning curve from the kind of challenges he can put in and what he can't do? Or do you think he's being targeted by referees? I'm not sure. I mean, I'd like to say it's a bit of both. Maybe he needs to work on his timing a little bit, and maybe he is being targeted slightly. That's where I stand on it. But if you want to enlighten me and let me know what your thoughts on that, in the comments, that'd be great. There's hope that Christian Eriksen can return soon, but obviously it's not going to be this game. And there's no real talk about when exactly that will be. But I'll keep you posted on that as soon as I know something. Or if you know something, share it in the comments. Marcus Rashford, as you know, dropped out of the England squad for the international break. But Ten Hag expects him to be ready and playing tomorrow. Anthony Martial, he's been training for 2 weeks and could make a return at some point. So some people are saying that could be tomorrow. I've even seen some stories about Martial could start tomorrow. Well, if that's the case, he'll be injured and we'll not see him for 3-4 months again. If that's the case, we won't see him till next season. But personally, I think he's a bit of a liability. I don't mean his football playing ability, I mean his fitness and how injury prone he is. I'd like to know more about that. What is it about him? What issues does he have? Does he have a recurring injury? And if so, what's his future look like at the club? I mean, you can't be constantly injured and earn 70 to whatever hundred thousands of pounds a week that he potentially is doing. Rafael Varane and Marcel Sabitzer should shake off knocks and be able to start tomorrow. But obviously, Donny van der Beek, that horror kind of injury he had, and Alejandro Garnacho are unfortunately long-term injuries, and I mean there's not much talk about them coming back, soon. Especially Donny van der Beek actually. Garnacho, there was talk that he'd be back at some point this month, so April. It's the 1st of April, so some point this month, but we'll see. So what's my predictions for the lineup for tomorrow's game? My predictions are like this. So goalkeeper, obviously David De Gea. Yeah, he gets a lot of stick sometimes about how he plays out from the back, but personally, I think he's our only goalkeeper. I mean, who have we got to challenge him? If he had a challenger, we'd see that challenger play. As for pundits and other YouTube channel hosts kind of calling him out and saying, oh, he's not as good as this player, he's not as good as that player. Well, I mean, a lot of those players they're talking about don't play in the Prem. And so they're not proven. And so a lot of other people would also say, but the goalkeeping's goalkeeping. It's not the same as being a striker or being a midfielder or a centre-back. You just have to focus on that space in and around the goal and talking to your centre-backs and organising that that guy with a stick who organises an orchestra. I can't remember what they're called at the moment. Yeah, so I think, for me, De Gea always starts. I highly rate him and help him sort out his new contract. He turned down a contract offer, but obviously they're trying to offer him less. I don't know why that is. Maybe really they're trying to force him out. Makes no sense to me. What do you think? Do you want to replace him? Do you want him to stay? Do you think he's worth $375,000 a week? Or do you think he needs to have a pay cut? But why? Share your thoughts in the comments. Moving on to right back, Diego Dalot. He's had injuries and he's been had illnesses and obviously fitness problems since he came back from the World Cup, and that's led to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who many had said will be leaving the club, to kind of like stand up and fight for that spot, and he. For a good period of time was kind of quietening the critics down, and I was one of his critics, if I'm honest, and he did surprise me, but I think once he gets his feet under the proverbial table and he has a good run, a few games, he starts to be a little lazy again. No tracking back, getting caught out of position. and always having to rely on that last ditch tackle. I think it's I think he was the catalyst, for Liverpool's opening goal, and then obviously what came after that. But I'm not going to slag him off on the channel. He's a United player. I love him for being a United player. It's just we've got standards and expectations, and we're a vocal fan base, and we like to speak our mind. So, well, anyway, yeah, and for me, Dalot is still kind of the more enticing attacking option. From okay, it's a defensive position, right back, but these days we like them bombing on, putting crosses in, linking up with the midfield a little bit more. But I think Wan-Bissaka and Dalot together offer Ten Hag some good options, because they're both different players, so he can play to their strengths depending on who we're playing against and what tactics he may need for a particular game. So moving into the centre of defence, we've got Raphael Varane. He's had some time to rest his aches and pains, and as you probably know, he retired from international duty after the World Cup, so he's no longer playing for France. And he is injury prone, and maybe he's one of those players that, I highly rate him, don't get me wrong, he's an intelligent footballer, and he's a great right back. But because of how injury prone he is, it's a must. Ten Hag will find some other way to kind of ease the burden on Varane and lengthen his career at United. Well, that's what I hope anyway. I think that's a logical way to go about it, rather than just bringing in a new centre-back and benching Varane. At the end of the day, Varane's proven. He's proven for United now. I know he started, his first season and a bit were kind of stop-start because of injuries. I think we just played him too much. But now, he's proven, and I really highly rate the guy. So, on to someone else I highly rate, is Lisandro Martinez. Did you know he travelled across the world for Argentina, making a substitute appearance in their game against Panama? What a guy he is. Leacher. The Butcher of Amsterdam. What a nickname, the Butcher. Mad. Anyway, so next we've got Luke Shaw. So as we know, apparently, and according to some pundits, Luke Shaw's been playing some of the best football of his career. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt their sincerity. But I wouldn't say he's been playing some of the best football of his career. I'd say he has a standard. So this is the way I see it. He goes away and he plays for England in tournaments. He plays really well for England. And then he comes back and he brings some of that form back into United's squad. And he looks really pumped up and motivated. But again, that dissipates a little. I think maybe that might be because his energy levels start to subside. And he's not a lazy player. I don't think he's a lazy player at all. I just think that his energy levels drop off after a period, and his concentration levels do too. And you can see that in his performances sometimes. So I think the introduction of Malacia was a great move. And he's still really to prove himself. But the fact that Malacia is there pushing on Luke Shaw to replace him kind of pushes Shaw on. And I think together they're great options for that position. Moving on to Martial Sabitzer. So obviously the absences of Casemiro and Christian Eriksen for tomorrow's game make it more likely that Sabitzer will start. However, I mean, he's still a little unproven. I don't think he's had much of a run in the side. And I think he should get that run because he hopes to stay at the club in the summer. Although that might not happen for various kind of internal Bayern Munich reasons, which I won't touch upon in this video. I'll do that if and when, transfer news comes out about actually we might actually keep him. But I think to do that, he needs to do a bit more. We need to see a bit more of him. However, some people are hoping that Scott McTominay will start ahead of him. That means we'll have Fred and McTominay, so, as some people call it, McFred in midfield again. And we've seen what happens when that happens, when they two play together. I don't want that. Do you want that? I don't. Share what you think in the comments below. Moving on to Fred. Fred is more of a certain to start. He's impressed this season. He's certainly impressed me. His mobility, tenacity. He's scored a few goals. He links the midfield with the attack. He's done really well. I suppose a downside to his game is if United are under a bit of pressure and he's got to track back or he's put under pressure, he doesn't think quickly enough, and some of the his passes back get caught out, or he loses possession too quickly. But I don't think that in the long run anyway will be what Ten Hag wants from the squad. He wants them ultimately to control games. That's not happened this season, as you know. But going forward, maybe from next season or the season after Ten Hag's had more of a time to mould the squad, I think, being under pressure too much, push back towards the 25 yards out, 18-yard box isn't going to happen. But saying that, talking about Fred, I wouldn't rate him as a great player or a good player. I'd rate him as not average. He's somewhere between a good player and an average player, whatever that is, whatever you can call that. He certainly isn't reliable, I wouldn't have thought. But will Fred, let's say the Qataris take over in the summer, they give Ten Hag, a budget that enables him to buy a couple of players, so a striker and, say, midfield and a new centre-back. Will Fred even get a game next season? Will he be on the bench? Who knows? What do you think? So moving on, there's Anthony on the right. Anthony, for me, still needs to kind of concentrate on producing more of an end product. Instead of running up that right wing, running into a cul-de-sac and always turning back and playing it back. We need the ball put in the box. Yeah, and maybe it's because he's one-footed. I don't want to slate him here on the channel. I actually like the lad, and I think he looks like a. Do you remember when Ronaldo first came to the club and he looked a little raw? Ronaldo was a little younger, but he looks a little like that, a little raw. And it makes you wonder why Ten Hag wanted him at the club. Maybe he sees something in him and he believes he can mould him and make him into, the player he wants him to be. Obviously he come off the bench again in that chaotic game against the 3-1 win against Fulham in the FA Cup. Wow, what a game that was. My heart was beating really fast. But that was just a case again against us being pushed back and us fighting back. I want to control games. I don't want to have to, spend half a match worrying about whether we're going to lose. We need to control the games, and obviously that's a work in progress. That's what Ten Hag's working towards. But about Anthony, yeah, he just needs more time. But I do think he's a regular fit for the first team. Who else can we play on the right? Yes, there's Jadon Sancho, but Sancho's got his own problems, his form, fitness, and I think there were some possible kind of psychological issues that led to him having some time off earlier in the season. I'm not sure about that. I mean, if you know more, please let me know in the comments. But I don't think Sancho is a star on the right now. And I'll be doing a video about that, about him and how Ten Hag can potentially get more from him. And if he can't get more from him, I can't see him being at the club much longer. It could be one of those really good potential players who ends up leaving. But I don't think that'll be this summer. I think Ten Hag will give him next season at least, and possibly then consider his future. What do you think? Moving on to Bruno Fernandes, so the number 10. He started both of Portugal's games during the international break, assisting one of Cristiano Ronaldo's goals against Luxembourg. Mr. Unstoppable, as I call him, was named as the club's player of the month yesterday. I mean, why do I call him Mr. Unstoppable? Was basically because he's played almost every game this season, if not every game this season. He's played more times this season than any other player in Europe. That includes goalkeepers, which makes him an amazing player. I mean, he is absolutely Mr. Unstoppable, and I think he truly deserves that player of the month for last season. Well done, Bruno. Bruno. So moving on to Marcus Rashford. As you know, he withdrew from the England squad, and then, because he was supposedly carrying the odd knock, a bit of an injury, or he was tired, it was something like that anyway. And then there was pictures of him emerged on a little break with his girlfriend in New York. Well, good on him. He needed the rest, needed a bit of family time, a bit of time with his girlfriend, enjoyed themselves together. They're a young couple. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. There were a few images of him with his girlfriend somewhere in New York, standing in front of a water feature together. Now, I've got nothing against him having some rest and relaxation. Everybody needs it. So, I mean, obviously Ten Hag hopes that he'll be available again tomorrow, which is most likely, and that he can maintain his goal scoring form. I mean, the next player on my list, should be adding to the goal scoring for the club, but he obviously isn't. So we need Marcus Rashford. Come on, Rashford, keep your form. We need your goals, lad. We need them. So next, I'm moving on to Weghorst. He's still yet to bag in the Prem for United this season. And maybe he'll score a goal tomorrow. Who am I kidding? No, I've probably got more chance of winning the national lottery. The UK national lottery tomorrow night. Which you've got more chance of winning that. You got less chance of winning that than you have being hit by an asteroid. So yeah, I mean, I'm not slagging the guy off. He does a job. Ten Hag likes him for whatever reason. He's a bit of hold-up play high up the pitch. Okay, serves a purpose. But we need a striker. And Weghorst, right now, for United, he is not a striker. Have I got anything else to say about him? No. I've got nothing. I mean, do you like well, I like him as a person. From what I've seen anyway, that initial interview with the club. Other than that, I mean, he does a job, he slows things down. He's a bit like a more useless Lukaku, is he not? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. So, that was my predicted lineup. What do you think about that? Yes, I think I've been pretty safe with it, but Ten Hag doesn't really have the depth and quality of depth of squad to make that any more challenging. Again, do you agree? I mean, what strength and depth does he have? None, in my opinion. So, what's my prediction for the result tomorrow? Well, I think it will be hard, but I'm never right about predicting, scores in games. I'm never right, but I think United will win 1-0, and thanks to a Marcus Rashford goal. Come on, Marcus, put that ball in the net. We're all counting on you, lad. We're all counting on you. So, what are your thoughts? Who would you start? Do you know anything that I don't know? Please smash a like on the video. Share your thoughts in the comments. And please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Please help this. This is a new channel. Please help us reach fellow United fans. And let's share what we know together. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.